5 students from Berkeley University, and they decided they needed a break. And they had decided to have this party in the backyard. And they chose a theme, which they thought that King Arthur and his knights would be a good theme. And I understand they used dustbin lids for shields and wooden swords, and they had a great time. And they decided they'd do it again next year. And they did. They had, I think it was 27 people came to the next one. And it has grown from there. And that was 26 years ago. And as of the last about minutes, there are over 20,000 paid members in the Society of Current. Has his free will, the path and true, the words that shoe, my mind shall be virtue to use, vice to refuse, I shall use me.
SCA members are dedicated to the recreation of life as it was in the Middle Ages. Individual groups in the SCA are ruled by a baron or baroness, who are democratically elected. The smaller groups form kingdoms ruled by kings and queens, who are selected by right of arms.
Obligations, being a baron and a knight, to the king, in this case the King of the East, is that any time war would occur, usually in the summer, August we have an annual one, obviously I'm required to bring all the troops and support people I possibly can, troops, archers, water bearers, whatever, to the Pennsic Wars to support my king. This is one of my duties, this is one of my obligations for holding the land in trust to the king. Being a fighter, I'm obviously lead the troops. If a warlord has to be chosen, in other words, someone other than myself to lead the troops or do the day-to-day work, I'd be the one to determine who that is. And of course, every time a new king and queen is coronated, I have to go up and swear fealty. In other words, loyalty from not just myself, but my barony to the king, to the queen. We have to do this twice a year.
We have, of course, a king and a queen who reign for 6 months in the Middle Kingdom, of which we are part. And as soon as they have been crowned, within 2 or 3 weeks, they will have a crown tourney at which the next prince will win by right of arms, and his lady will be the princess. And for 6 months, they will be prince and princess, learning what they're going to have to do to be king and queen. And then they'll have another coronation 6 months later, and they will step up, and the others will step down. So each group is run the same way as the kingdom. You have a kingdom seneschal, you have a baronial seneschal, you'll have a canton seneschal or shire seneschal. The herald and the exchequer, who runs the money, chatelains, who look after the clothing and have spare clothing for people who are new and want to try something on and see whether they like our game or not. We have our own first aid people, who we call the chirurgeons, and they look after our minimal wants and tell us whether we should go to the hospital or not. But it's very, very rare, because the fighting that is done with every possible safety taken care of.
The armor standards are meant for safety. Everything is geared towards safety, the qualifications. But the armor, we wear normal regulation masks. We put a bib to the back of them to make sure that no miscellaneous straws come across any skin that might be back there, as you can see here. We also wear a tight weave material or leather on the chest. I have a fencing jacket on underneath this buff coat. Tight weave pants, groin protection, and usually a leather gorget to protect the neck and hollow of the throat. This escort, it's meant to try to recreate an actual duel that may have happened in the 15th century. We have a system it's done in the round, unlike modern fencing, which is just on a strip. It's also incorporates the thrusts, which you have in modern fencing, but it also incorporates draws or cuts like a push or a pull with the blade, that would have created a cut if it were a real blade. And that is how we base the scoring system. You get 2 cuts to a limb, any limb, legs or arms. If you get 2 cuts or a thrust to any of them, you have to give up that limb or that limb. If you get 2 draws to the chest, 2 cuts to the chest, that would be considered you're wounded too much to continue. 1 draw to the soft part of the stomach, 1 to the neck, 2 to the head. And if you lose 2 limbs, you're considered you also have to concede without too much damage has occurred.
Many types of medieval fighting are practiced by SCA members, including fencing, knights in armor, and archery.
I was also very interested in archery. I'm not so much interested in fencing or the heavy weapons that you've seen here today, but the archery is a lot of fun. I had trouble finding equipment, so I got into the archery business, selling equipment. And you'll see that I have arrows that are made similarly to the way they had them in the Middle Ages in Europe or Japan or the Mongolian Empire. So I provide a service in terms of wooden bows, long bows, recurves to people who want to do that in the society. Generally, the type of arrows I sell are not available commercially because of their specialized fletching design. Most arrows today are made of metal, aluminum, or fiberglass, and we shoot only strictly wooden arrows with feather fletching.
Modern-day craftsmen labor to create armor for the many fighters in the SCA.
The way that I make this is, first I coil the links on the machine there on the bar. Then, using a pair of bolt cutters or side cutters or some such cutting device, I clip the links into individual links such as this, and then put them together to form some sort of pattern. It's very time consuming. The shirt took me about 3 months, working 3 hours a day, 5 days a week on average. And the coif, I worked on it slowly, and it took me about a year.
I'm a blacksmith by trade, and about 4 years ago, a fellow walked into my shop, wanted me to repair a piece of armor. And I asked him if should I repair it or replace it, and just the prospect I could replace it thrilled him, so he taught me how to build armor. I first developed a pattern and using stiff cardboard, and then figure out how each piece is going to fit with the next piece, and then duplicate it in steel.
Though fighting is enjoyed by many members of the SCA, the arts and sciences of the Middle Ages also flourish.
The Minister of Science and Minister of Arts encourage everybody in anything that was done anytime between 600 and 1600. And we have people who learn to do calligraphy and illumination. They do sewing and embroidery and dressmaking and cloth making, armory, woodworking. If it could have been done then, I am sure we can find you someone in the society who is not only good at it, but a master of it.
As a wife and mother and a student of anthropology, I find myself very interested in how people did things way back in the old times before you could just go out to the store and buy them. Therefore, I've taught myself since about the age of 9 to knit, to crochet, to tat, to make lace by knitting and crocheting, and, well, bobbin lace is my next project. I also taught myself how to spin with my antique spinning wheel that I inherited from my aunt. So this is a ball of my hand-spun linen thread. I've also tried spinning wool, and it's much easier than linen. But with this thread, I use it in the lucette, and I've made all this cord, which you can then use to tie things with, like your bodice, or your child, or your picnic basket, or whatever. Or you can use it in couching, which is sewing a pattern onto something else.
This is going to be a blank scroll, just for the purpose of the illumination. And then inside we do calligraphy. This is just some samples of the calligraphy that I do. This is Chancery Italics, and that's very, very easy. It's very early period. Used on the Celtic scrolls and Celtic runes. This is Gothic or Textura or even black letter scribble, it has been called, and it's very late period. And what we do is we combine these two and make scrolls somewhat like this one. And we give them out to people in our club for awards for things that they do to recognize them, or heraldry, or costuming, or doing illumination and calligraphy. And someone will spend probably around 20 to 25 hours doing one of these scrolls.
I love the society. I have loved it ever since I joined over 10 years ago. But no doubt it will change. Yes, everything changes. And I'm sure that it'll change for the better. New people bring new ideas and greater research and get even more older ideas. And the more we learn, the better we can only be. For me, it is a way of learning history that is fun. Because you're doing it because you want to and not because you have to. And the very fact that I can learn and never stop learning. I find all these wonderful young people, students in universities, and I can learn from them. And I'm 60, and I'm still learning. And there's no horizon. So it's so exciting. There's so much there to be learned.